Okay, so this will be a different type of video for Genshin, where I go over characters that, to be honest, I don't regret pulling for them. So often, like, even when I type in characters I do not regret pulling for in Genshin Impact, a majority of the videos are characters I regret pulling for, even though I literally typed in characters I don't regret pulling for. It's the opposite for that. So, with that in mind, what characters do I not regret pulling for? If I'm being completely 100% honest, I don't regret pulling for a single goddamn character. However, I do regret pulling on a few banners back in the early days of Genshin, because these 5 stars I don't care for, nor do I want to use to begin with. And they are Venti, Ganyu, and Tartaglia. These are the only 3 characters I do not give a shit about, nor do I want to use actively. So, and unfortunately with Tartaglia's case, I have him at C1 somehow. But in the early days of Genshin, I pulled on every banner I could because I wanted to get every single 4-star so I had more options for characters to use. Because more options are good. So, how am I going to do this? Let me think. I think I'm just going to go in and talk about every single 5-star character I've pulled for and give my reasoning why I don't regret pulling for them. So let's start from the top with Arlecchino. She has unfortunately Paracut Hu Tao, which was my number 1 main since I got her. And the best part about Hu Tao is I got her at C1 because I got her, I won the 50-50 I believe, and then I got her again back to back only because I didn't get Toma yet. And that was during the time that Toma was the brand new character. So, but anyway, this is about Arlecchino for now. I don't regret pulling for this character. She's incredible, she's amazing, and I love that she can be the first in rotation instead of being the last character in rotation. Because I generally have my supports be 1, then 2, then 3, and then my DPS at 4. But with Arlecchino, she can be number 1. What more do I need to say about Kazuha that already has not been said before? He is, bar none, one of, if not the best units in this game. If you don't have Kazuha yet, what are you doing? Pull for this character when he eventually comes back again. He is insane. Not only that, but for if you plan on doing Spiral Abyss, and you only have Sucrose, pick up Kazuha. He's much more worth it than Venti, by a long shot. So I feel like I need to explain Scaradouche a little bit. And mostly that I enjoy his playstyle. He's fun as hell to use, and he actually feels like a 5-star character doing 5-star damage with a 4-star weapon. Not only that, but he's very flexible. The only downside with him, though, is that there aren't that many good support characters that fill a specific type of role. Like, we need more characters, 4-star characters at the very least, that are like a Diona, where they can shield and heal. But we currently don't have that. Electro especially, because Electro has no good healers, unfortunately. Rusty was a surprise for me. I pulled for this character because I liked his design, and I got not 1, but 2 copies of him in the same goddamn temple. I even have a video of that where I pulled him, and I got surprised. Not only that, but Rusty is my second character who has his signature 5-star weapon, the first one being Venti. And because, of course, I got Venti's weapon again. So, there's that. Rusty is so fucking fun to use. He's been an absolute blast to play as. He's great. Eula. I don't regret pulling for her at all, because much like Rusty, I enjoy his gameplay. Or I enjoy her gameplay. She's fun, and she's awesome. The only downside with her, though, is I don't use her much, but that's a me thing and not a her thing. And she is physical, which is good, but there isn't a whole lot of crowd control availability for that, because her best teammate is Fischl, and Diona. There's no crowd control or, Viridescent user. I don't remember why I pulled for Ayaka. I genuinely don't. But I did. Am I happy about it? I mean, if I didn't have Ayaka, I probably wouldn't have the characters I do have now. So there's that. Hell, I wouldn't even have Jean, because I got Jean in the same temple as Ayaka as well. She is fun for the most part, but Rusty is so much better, so much more fun to play as, and less clunky, but I still don't regret my time with Ayaka. She's great. Sino is one of the very few characters who I can actively say I can regret or not regret pulling for. However, even with Chlorine being out, I don't regret pulling for this dude. He's fun as hell to play as, I just don't have the right teammates for him. Because unfortunately, his best team is one with Dendro. And there aren't that many good Dendro support characters. I do have Kusanali, but there's one downside. And that has to do with Electro not having good supports, specifically healers / heal and shield. I generally run beta with him, because her elemental burst is like a shield to a degree. I don't regret pulling for this character either. She's great, but the only downside to her is that she's a 5-star, but doesn't feel like she does 5-star damage, even with the catch and good emblem. I still don't regret having her on my account though. The only thing I regret about her is having her at level 90. Because I remember someone said that once you get her to 90 and have her at Friendship or something, her name from Rated Shogun goes to A, with IE, or EI. But as you can see, that's not the case here. While she did get power crept, I don't regret pulling for this character one bit. I adore her to bits. She is one of my favorite characters in the game, character-wise, design-wise, and playstyle-wise. While I do have her at C1, which makes her a whole lot better to use, she's still really fun. I generally have nothing bad to say about Hu Tao, aside from that she needs her C1, unlike Arlecchino, where she's perfectly viable at C0. Shenhe, I don't regret pulling for her, because she's... The only time I ever used Shenhe, really, is against bosses, and I want to use Rosli. Because, as far as I'm aware, bosses can't be frozen. So freeze becomes completely obsolete. But that's where Shenhe comes in, because she buffs cryo damage. Not only that, but her design is incredible. I adore her. Chlorine is recent, and was a surprise for me. I genuinely like her animations. Her burst is one of the best in the game, by far, in terms of its animation at least. And I haven't gotten to use her yet in full, but I'm looking forward to that day. Nahida is another one of the recent characters, and I genuinely don't regret pulling for her at all. I like her design, and she's one of the best Dendro characters in the game, if not the best Dendro character in the game. Because she actually does what every support character should be doing, which is applying their element off-field. It's good. Oh, Furina. Bratty Archon Goddess herself. I don't regret pulling for her. She's great. However, there are two better options, depending on the team comps. And those are Yelan and Xingqiu. Furina has one glaring issue, in that her Hydro application, while it is tied to her skill, which is good, they attack at random, instead of attacking when you attack, which is what Yelan and Xingqiu do. However, Furina's attack boost and everything else she provides is fucking great. I don't regret pulling for Yelan at all, and the only reason why I pulled for her in the first place is so that I could have another Hydro character for Spiral Abyss, because Xingqiu is way too good, and I need double Hydro on 2 separate teams. Tartaglia, it was the early stages of the game. I don't remember why I pulled on his other banner that gave me C1. I don't know what characters were on it that I wanted, but there's that. Dea I didn't pull for on her banner, I lost the 50-50, and that's how I got her. So, that's everyone. If anything else, I regret not using the characters more, because I've only been using Vape and Freeze whenever I can, because Spiral 12 is fucking obnoxious.